So I didn't want any weakness. I didn't
Yeah.
want anybody to be able to see me weak. So if you have a family and people can get to your family, you're going
Yeah.
to be weak. I watch too many shows to note that there are weaknesses. And if you have weaknesses, you're not going to be seen as strong. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to be ruthless. It was when my life was altered, when I almost lost my life. And the thing that flashed before my eyes was
Behind every smile is a story of pain, strength, and resilience. The Blueprint Podcast is where those stories are told, where we heal, evolve, and reclaim what's ours. And whether you're a woman finding her voice or a man ready to listen and grow, this space is for you. Together, we rise back into her. Before we begin, please note that today's conversation may include topics that could be sensitive or triggering. Listeners' discretion is advised. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to The Blueprint. I'm Yanique, and I'm your host, your sister, and your friend. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your comments in the comment section. If I don't know what you think, I don't know what to change. And that's ultimately what made this podcast better for you and for everyone who's listening. So don't be shy. Let me know what resonates with you the most. Now, let's get into today's episode. Aneisha Rose is a certified John Maxwell life and business coach, entrepreneur, and forex trader with over 10 years of experience in the financial industry. She's the founder of Wealthy Annie Coaching, where she mentors individuals and businesses in confidence, wealth, and success. A proud product of Kingston 13, Aneisha is the epitome of resilience, devoting her life to inspiring others to rise above. So today we're going to get right into it. Welcome, Annie.
Hi, Yanique. How are you? Good night, good evening, good morning, everyone. How
Whenever
are
you're
you?
watching this, thank you so much for choosing to be a part of the Blueprint. I'm so happy you said yes.
And thanks for inviting me. I'm really elated and proud of you for following through and doing what you are doing best.
Yes, 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 guys. Just for some context, I met Aneisha at John Maxwell, all the way in Florida, Orlando, Florida, to be exact. We went there to be certified as John Maxwell speakers, coach, and trainers. And we, the story, it's the story in itself is so interesting. She actually bought a phone, and when we got that phone in Orlando, the box was empty. Can you believe that? So
Yeah.
that in itself is an entire story. But yeah. So one of our when we came back, we decided that we were forming an alliance with one of the other certified coaches as well, and that's how we kept in contact. And we both venture off,
Yeah.
and she commended me earlier for sticking to it, because now I'm trying my very best to practice what we've learned in speaking, and she's also doing a phenomenal job doing that, but she's doing it in a different realm, and we're going to get into that shortly. So this conversation is going to hit a spot for me, because I think we have somewhat lived similar lives in terms of growing up in the ghetto or the inner city, or um, the underserved, whichever
Yeah.
term you guys are used to. So can you take us back to Kingston 13? What was life for you growing up?
Well, Yannick, life was interesting as a child. Growing
Mm-hmm.
up in Kingston 13, one of the things you did not know that you were poor. Because
Yes.
you're living in the community, everyone has the same circumstance. Some persons may have concretized houses, some persons have board houses. So
Mm.
you would see a little disparity basically in that way, but you would not have known that you were really poor. My
Yeah.
father had a car, so then, and we went to a good primary school because I have a sister. So it's two of us that were raised in the same household. And I
Mm.
had parents, but my parents were Christians and
Okay.
they weren't like everybody else. So we didn't get the opportunity to be on the road as often as others. We were mostly house furniture, basically. But one
Mm.
of the things I always praise my mom in doing was that she taught us to read when we were babies. So from growing up, we had a high comprehension skill. So
Mm.
in growing up in the inner city, while there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of turmoil, angry things, everything happening, we were focused on bookwork. We were focused
Yeah.
on doing what we needed to do. The truth of the matter is, when you're growing up in an environment, you tend to want to emulate the environment somewhat. So,
Yeah.
we grew up a particular way in a Christian household, but one person chose to rebel, one person chose, which is me, chose to live a different life. I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to be outside like everyone else, getting the opportunity to play, to have fun.
Yes.
Not that we were restricted, but we were kept inside to play inside. And it
Mm-hmm.
was mostly book work, focusing on book work. So we were always top in our classes,
Mm.
always doing well. We passed GSAT for Arden High School, both of us. So I am the
Nice.
first one, my sister follows behind. So basically, everywhere we went to university and all of that. So living in Kingston 13, I think the reality hits when you realize that the violence is so gruesome. When
Mm.
you realize that you're seeing headless bodies, when you realize that you're getting ready to go to work and you're delayed because of gunshots. You're
Wow.
getting ready to come home and you come off the taxi, and when you look, there is a dead body. You have to
Yes.
take another road, or you're told that you just missed a shooting, or you're at home sleeping and you hear a barrage of shots and you have to just fall on the ground and just lay flat. There are so many instances that I could recount. Innocent lives brutally taken out. Seeing one of my good friends, her child's father, murdered. I didn't see, but I saw the body after the
Mhm.
aftermath. And, that really jolted me. And I looked at it and I said, God, I know why I'm here. I know
Mhm.
why I had to grow through this, because growing up, realizing probably in high school that we were actually poor, when you saw the different schools now, the individuals, you're outside of the environment of Kingston 30. So you were in that little bubble, but you're
Yeah.
outside now. So you're able to see a different life. You're able to see different things. And
Yeah.
we would have passed for these high schools. So we didn't buy our way in. We didn't go through on a scholarship. We actually did the work and we got in based on, brains and just really working hard. So that kind of jolted me as well. That affected my confidence, self confidence, because I'm seeing so many different things. Some persons don't have to work as hard as I do, you
Mhm.
know? And then basically, you're really discriminated against when you
Yeah.
are in high school and, you hear persons, if you want to look like this, go and live, go to the schools in the slums, be like
Yeah.
this in the slums. And I'm like, yeah, but we're people in the slums too. So if you discriminate against me and I worked hard to get here, what are
Yeah.
you saying about me? So
Yes.
life growing up was a bit hard, 'cause
Yeah.
financially, some things you wanted that you could not afford. And that for me, whilst some persons may be upset or angry, and yes, I had my points in life when I was angry,
Yes.
the truth of the matter is, I really am grateful for where I started, because that would have channeled me to be somebody that saves a lot. So
Yeah.
going to high school, not having a lot of money for lunch money, I had to learn to save consistently, saving to the point that I would go to sports day and we had $1,000 worth of silver to
What?
use to spend. Imagine you walk in a bag and it's a bag of silver, not paper money, a bag of silver. And some persons will find it embarrassing because we were on the path program as well. And I
Mm.
wasn't ashamed of that, because the truth of the matter is, I realized early that if I can't afford it, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't
Yeah.
stop me from living. It doesn't stop me from being who I am. What I
Mm,
need to do is now properly plan in
yes.
order to execute and live a life that probably I want, that my parents probably could not have had either. So
Yeah.
my mom, she worked and then she lost her job. And for funny enough, every time it was my birthday, they lost their job. Every time my birthday was coming around, because it was July, somebody lost their job. So I could not get a present that I wanted. And,
Oh,
I was like, and the one cake that I got was spoiled.
oh
I could only
no.
take a picture with it, right? And then you had to just sacrifice that, hey, school is beginning in September. So you have to think about that. So life was
Interesting.
typical life, hard, but I learned some valuable lessons. And because my grandparents were self-employed as well, my grandmother a vendor at a primary school, my
Yeah.
grandfather was a carpenter, my father's mom was also a vendor. I saw entrepreneurship at a
Mm,
very early age, and I saw what entrepreneurship could do for them, even though they didn't have formal education as a degree. They were hardworking, industrious persons, honest persons. And so my grandparents were able to buy their house whilst
mm-hmm.
in the inner city. But it was a little different from others because it was concrete. You had the inside bathroom, had all
Mm,
of that to their comfort. They had their TV, everything like that. Big, spacious land. Probably outside of Kingston 13, it would be valued at about 40, $50 million. That's the
mm,
size of the land. And, when I saw that, I was always proud of them. So sometimes persons say to you, your biggest role models, they were my
you
biggest role
were-
models because you could see them not having formal education, but they
yeah.
were always there for us every graduation, every
Nah,
single graduation.
so much to unpack here. Okay. First, let me give you
Mhm.
guys a story about silver. So you heard her mention silver. When she says silver, we're referring to coins. The first time I came to the US, that was in Orlando, Florida, same place we met. I was at the Universal Studio working and I wanted a quarter. And I went to them and I said, "Hey, yeah, do you guys have any silver?" And they're looking at me like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Silver, I need." They're like, "Silver, what is that?" I said, "I want to put it in the vending machine." "Oh, you mean quarters, coins?" I'm like, "Okay." So I will never forget that story because sometimes we take the words that we know in Jamaica and we take them here.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so much to unpack. I grew up in the inner city too, so I can definitely resonate. And as you spoke about the headless bodies and the gunshots, all I could do is reflect back on my upbringing. And for those of you who know anything about Jamaica, I'm sure you know the words Central Village. And that's where I grew up because Central Village was no playpen. All right. So I am so familiar with having to wonder, when is it safe to come out? When is it safe to stay in? There were times when they would literally come to my mom because my mom had restaurant and a bar, and they would literally come and tell her, "You need to close. You need to lock up early tonight because things is gonna happen." And so she had that respect in the community where we were told to go to bed early. So definitely understand that. But you mentioned your parents and not knowing that you were actually poor because you were happy, you were inside
Yeah.
and you were protected and you had what the necessities, but you didn't understand the luxury of it all. And the irony of it, guys, is that she goes by the name Wealthy Annie. So we're gonna get into where that came from and why you refer to yourself like that. But at what point did you decide that, you know what, now that I know that I grew up poor, or I didn't have as much things that I want, what was your turning point that made you say, "I'm going to create my own. It's time"?
I think the turning point was when I was a child because I had a very huge imagination. Because as
Wow.
I mentioned, because my mother taught us to read, we were reading so many different books.
Mm.
So we had vivid, large imagination. So I would always see myself as a teacher, as a doctor, as a lawyer. So my thought process at that time and anything I did, it was with a spirit of excellence. So
Understood.
no matter what we did, any competition we entered, we're always winning. We're always doing well. So I always wanted to do so well that I could say, hey, this is Aneisha. This is what she's doing. I'm doing all of that. But I guess in high school, when I realized what discrimination really was and how it felt, I
Uh-huh.
decided that, and a lot of persons said, you're not going to come out to anything. Because
Uh,
remember, we go through our stages of rebelling
yeah.
when people really wrong us, when people say things about us, negative things about us, and try to marry our character. And
Yep.
people don't understand that as parents, as individuals, as adults, what you say to university students, high school students can really affect them. So
Yeah.
going through that, I said, teachers were on me all the time. I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. And in high school, I did my subjects in CXC, passed them in Cape, passed with a distinction in communication study because I wrote about my life and I did
Mm.
research on it. So I literally wrote about my experiences and got a distinction. That's a one in
Wow.
communication study in Cape. So basically, you really realize that my story was so compelling that it got A profiles, right? And
Yes.
so I decided that nothing would stop me from being who I need to be because I'm going to prove you people wrong.
Mm.
Anytime you tell me I can't do something, you put fuel under the fire because I am going to do it because I'm going to shut you up.
Yep.
I'm going to let you stop talking because I'm going to show you that no, don't play with me.
Don't
No, not
play.
because I'm from the inner city and not because I seem timid, not because I seem like, oh, I don't have bucket with money to help me if something goes wrong. No, I'm going to show you. So that fueled me. So I decided, all right, I'm going to go to university and study business administration. First year went full time. Then I realized that I couldn't afford to attend university full time. So I decided to switch to part time, work full time, and then go to school part time. In my first year, I used to sell snacks to be able to afford to, go to school. So I would carry the snacks, and I had volunteered by the children, Maxwell Park Children's Home, helping them with GSAT and spelling bee. So when I was selling and persons asked me, because I didn't want people to be in my business, I told them that I'm doing it for the children's home. It's really for myself, but I
Yeah.
got more sales like that
Yes.
basically. And they were like, you're not increasing your products, selling juice and all of these things. And I'm like, I can't carry so many things on the bus. It's my bag I use to carry the snacks. But I was able to do that, and I took from my mom because at that time she lost her job, couldn't get another job, and so she decided to take up from my grandmother and become a vendor at the same
Mm.
primary school. So I took some of her products and started to sell. And basically, that's how I decided, all right, this is fueling me. I like saving
Yeah.
money because, as I said, from high school, I had to be saving for everything that I wanted to do because the reality is I can't get what I want like everybody else. So I had to save. So my best friend and I would go to J and I would put on our money every Friday after school. We would go and deposit it in the book. And I had that deposit book, and I was able to buy my first cell phone in ninth grade. I was able to buy my mom her first cell phone, I believe, when I was in fifth form,
Wow.
thereabout. So I got into that, and I liked the feeling of my independence as it relates to being able to spend and doing things. So
Yeah.
at that point in time, the light bulb went off. What
Yeah.
if I could really focus? What if I could really change things? And then because the love I have for my family, I couldn't do anything less because I know what I would have done when I was younger to cause,
Mhm.
problems and harm. And so I decided in my mind that my parents would never cry again because of me. They would
Mm.
never again have to be called because of something or think that I'm going to die. They are going to be proud of me. They're going to hear my name. And every time they hear my name, it's because of something good. So at that point in time, I decided that there's no going back. There's no following anyone. There's no wanting to be like anyone else. I'm going to charter my own path. And, through the grace of God, I've been able to do so.
Wow, 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 wow. Testimony, guys. Testimony. Oh my goodness. So so much to unpack again, but I want to pause and give you a moment. I don't know if you want to share some of what you used to do as a kid that would probably cause headache and heartache for your parents. But if there are kids or teenager listening that feels like this is the end of it because I'm already going down the wrong path and there's no turning back, what would you say to them to help them to understand that even if they're in that current position, are mentally in that place, that there is a way to turn around?
Okay, as I said, I rebelled, and I'm very good at being good, and I'm very good at being bad. So anything I do, I do it to the best of my ability. So there, because I was a quiet child growing up, we were taught to be mannerable. We were taught not to talk back. We were taught not to speak when adults are speaking. We were taught not to be disrespectful. But as you grew up, especially in a Christian home, persons always tried to disrespect your parents,
Yeah.
always try to belittle you, always try to use something against you. So for years, I remained silent until I was 16. Then I decided that, hey, I'm 16 years old. I'm going to speak up now. I'm going to talk. And yes, I did speak. And yes, I was very open and vocal. And I was so angry because, as I said, people always did stuff. They always tried to use us. Everything they wanted, they came to us for. But there was no real persons really there to really help you. When you had a need, you didn't see persons around. But my parents would always be giving, giving, giving. So I became angry. And then persons used to always, tell lies on me and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm a bright girl. So even if you see me, why are you making it seem like I'm really dunce and I'm not doing well? And I was so angry to the point that I really just didn't want to do anything good with my life. I had so much hate, so much anger in my heart for people that I had a list of names of people that I really wanted to exact my revenge on. And so I decided I'm going to go into, when you watch the shows and you have the mercenaries and stuff like that. That's what my profession I wanted to become, because I was really very angry and I was researching it. I was getting there. I was getting to that point. I was depressed. I was angry. I tried to commit suicide multiple times. It didn't work. One at a time my mom caught me in the act of trying to hang myself. And I had to be doing counseling. It never really worked because, the truth of the matter is, if you're angry, you're angry. If you don't think you deserve to be here on this earth, you're going to try and take your life. So I did that so many times and it never worked.
Thank
Because
God.
even though I tried to join myself, it still didn't work.
Thank God.
I remember one of the times I was just there, and it was a scenario wherein I almost lost my life. And I was like, at that time before, I was planning that I'm going to send away my family because I wanted to be bad. So I
Yeah.
didn't want any family to be attached to me. So I didn't want any weakness. I didn't
Wow.
want anybody to be able to see me weak. So if you have a family and people can get to your family, you're going
Yeah.
to be weak. I watch too many shows to note that there are weaknesses. And if you have weaknesses, you're not going to be seen as strong. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to be ruthless. But it was when my life was altered, when I almost lost my life. And the thing that flashed before my eyes was, what if my parents, I disappeared and they could not find my body?
Uh-huh.
What would happen then? And
Uh-huh.
so at that point in time, I said, all of this anger. Oh, and
Uh-huh.
my uncle had died like 2 weeks prior. He drowned, and nobody can explain why he drowned, but he drowned that 2 weeks before that, and I was just so out of it, so angry, and it's so upset, and I just remembered seeing myself in a body bag, and I'm like, what will happen if my parents can't find me? And I
Yeah.
said to myself, I prayed and I said, God, forgive me. I didn't really 100% change at that time, but it changed the trajectory of where I was going to go to where I am now. And so I will say to anybody, don't take a permanent decision for a temporary setback, a temporary emotion, a temporary feeling. No one knows what it feels like being depressed, because I've heard myself over and over the thought saying, it's better you die then you would not be here. No one would miss you. No one would care. So I know what that is. I know what it is to be discriminated against, even as an adult.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
as an adult. So imagine as a child growing up and people discriminating
Everybody.
against you because you don't have the shoes that they think you should have, the bag that they think you should have, the look that they think you should look, the speech. Because I
Yeah.
speak broken English. So I used to be teased for my broken English, and I'm like, I'm still passing English
Yeah.
language. So even if I speak broken English, nothing is wrong. You twang and you still cannot pass English. So I had to be fighting against students. I had to be fighting against, and I didn't physically fight, but there was a
Yeah.
mental battle. Because if I
Wow.
fought, then I would be in jail, honestly, because I had so much anger. If I really fought, I would be in jail. So I decided not to really fight. And as I said, if God has a mark on you, which I knew from I was a child that I was marked by God, I
Yeah.
know that it was only the grace of God that really kept me. But I had to go through those near death experiences for me to realize that there is supposed to be more, and I need to just stop the foolishness and do what I need to do. I need to walk into my greatness. I'm saying to every young person, you
Mm-hmm.
may be discriminated against. You may be poor. You may have been molested, because I was abused, not by parents or a friend, but I went through that. I know what it is to want to do your SB and somebody's trying to rape you because you want to do it in high school because you did not have the computer to do your work.
My
So
gosh.
I hate poverty because of that very reason. Because every time you have something that is a limitation, it's always coming at a cost.
Yes.
Somebody wants to misuse you, ill treat you, and abuse you. And I want to say to persons, work so hard that no one can say, oh, because you slept with me, this is why you have it.
Yeah.
And I fought because I was adamant, you're not going to try to take advantage of me when I'm trying to do my schoolwork. I went to even to do my research in sixth form at a police station. And the research, remember, it's the same story about my life I'm writing about, and I need to do research. And the police were looking me in my school uniform. I tell you, I hate poverty.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to any young person, don't compromise on your value. Don't cause somebody to say, hey, dangle something in front of your face and say, hey, because I'm giving you this, take this. Because
Mm-hmm.
this is what is happening. Lay down. No, don't do it. You will be so much happier as
Yeah.
time progresses. You will have less regrets, because I have had to live with some regrets until I understood what it was to forgive myself of all the things I would have done, all the things I would have said. And the truth is, some things that you say, it hurts more than even stabbing somebody, because
Yes.
words cannot be taken back, and it leaves a void. It leaves a hurt that is, unless somebody understands forgiveness, it won't be let go so easily. So don't try to kill yourself. Seek help. Seek somebody that you can trust. Seek somebody that, and when I say trust, that they're
Trust.
not going to say to you, come and let me fondle you, come and let
Yep.
me give you something
Yep.
for something in return. But really, genuinely, they want to help you at no cost to you. If somebody says they want to have sex with you for exchange, that's prostitution. That's
Mm-hmm.
taking advantage of you. They don't love you. They don't mean you well. Shout out, say no, and just leave it right there.
Oh my goodness, Aneisha. First of all, thank God you're here. Thank God you stayed long enough for you to realize the path that you were going down wasn't the right one. Thank God you were able to change your life around. But we see this recently in the news.
Yeah,
Tara called in.
yeah,
She's not here. And she detailed everything that she was going through, but no one was able to help her in time. And it saddens me. And so I get a little bit emotional hearing that you also was, I've tried it multiple times. And, people are quick to judge when individuals get to that point where that's the only answer they have. And it's not for us to be on the outside, not having a clue what these individuals are going through when they actually get to that point. Yes, we all know what the Bible says and what we're not supposed to do, but you never know what is going through a person's mind in that very moment that causes them to do that. So again, I'm so happy you're here, and I hope that the listeners, if you're going through something, as Aneisha says, do not make permanent decision for temporary problems. Where there's a problem, there's a solution. And if you give yourself time, I'm sure, I'm sure the Lord will reveal it. So give yourself time. But in all of this, you mentioned that you grew up in the church. And I do know that probably that's part of the reason why you started to rebel. Because I lived next door to a church when growing up, and the pastor's son was was on. It was. I was like, "Oh, are you the pastor's son?" And you give the most trouble. It never made sense to me, but as I grew, I started to understand why. But when you decided, or when the change or the shift happened, how did faith in God guide you through those challenges?
Okay, as faith came in, as I said, I always knew of God, but
Mm-hmm.
having a relationship with God is different. So I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in the church, my parents, in the church, grandparents from the church, stuff like that. We were around a close community. So I knew of God. I participated on the choir. Every single thing. We're going to different churches, we're visiting, we're all over the place. But
Yeah.
you didn't have a relationship with God. And so many of us go to church, but we don't know God. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know God the Redeemer. We don't know God the Waymaker, the Provider, the Friend. And so I started to learn about faith. And when you want something, God will give it to you. When you desire a change, God is going to give you
Yeah.
the opportunities for that change to come about, but you have to put it to God. You have
Yeah.
to say, God, I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
trying this on my own and it's not working. And it's when I started to say those prayers that the honest truth is he started to put stuff in my way so I could see it. And one of those persons were Dr. Myles Munroe.
Mm.
Dr. Myles Munroe from the Bahamas, he would have told his story of how he grew up, and he today is known across the world as this Caribbean man, a pastor, a
Mm-hmm.
businessman, multi-millionaire for what he would have done. He, at 13 years old, decided to read the Bible because he had the same story. He said, God, if you are God, why is my father poor? Why are we poor? And he said he decided to study the scriptures himself. And so
Yeah.
it's listening to him, I understood the concept of forgiveness, that forgiveness is not for the other person who wronged me, it was for myself. And also the scripture says, I must forgive those so that I can be forgiven by God. So
Yeah.
imagine I'm thinking that everything is fine and I'm living, but I've not forgiven them. I'm not getting forgiveness for my
Yeah.
sins. And
Yeah.
so I decided, okay, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to change my thought process. And in learning and listening to him and starting to read the scripture myself, starting to pray in the 3 a.m., the 12 a.m. in the morning, and trying to build that intimacy with God. That's how I was then able to start to strengthen my relationship with God. I started to spend more time in the Word, more
Yeah.
time, in praise and worship, more time just talking to him. Because every single problem I had, I started to talk to God about it. Every single plan I had, I started to put it to God. So every single thing that I wanted to do, I said, God, and I started to pray. Prayer is something that is so key and instrumental to my growth. Because if
Yes.
I didn't pray, then it wouldn't happen. And I prayed, I pushed, pray until something happened.
Yeah, I love that. And yes, prayer do changes things, people. Like I have seen how God has changed my life in so many ways, and it's all because I pray and I ask, and He also knows my heart. So some things that I don't myself don't realize that I'm going through, God sees it and He shows me things. So I'm happy you were able to turn back to Him and seek His guidance. So we're going to shift gear a little bit. But before I do that, guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, ensure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to support and keep this movement going, there's the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. You can always click on that and buy your girl a coffee. It's late and I'm here doing this interview for you. All right. So, Aneisha, you've been in the financial industry for over 10 years now. And you now run Wealthy Annie coaching as well as you do the forex trading and stuff like that. So, what inspired you to make that shift into coaching? What was it that led you to that direction?
Okay, well, honestly, I've always been coaching all my life because I'm very vocal and I believe in, when I'm rising, my tribe must
Yeah.
rise as well. So my friends must rise. I like mentorship. So, growing up, I always was mentoring persons. And then when I looked at it, my sister and I started a mentorship program where we used to live in Kingston 13 for young students going to school. So I always was doing that. And then when I looked at it, I was like, okay. I remember 2023 when I was looking in at my life and I was analyzing and I'm saying, all right, I broke records. Top
Mhm.
person in small business, the youngest person in small business, the youngest person in a department, in most departments that I've been in, broke the record. I bought my house before I was 30,
Yeah.
had my car before I was 30. I did all of these things, but I was like, God, what next? I still don't
Yeah.
feel fulfilled. I still don't feel like I've gone to the optimum that I can do. And I was praying and I saw life coaching online. And then when
Mm.
I saw some stuff, I'm like, all right, maybe this is not for me. And I went to a youth retreat that year, and my friend would have come to me and she was praying with me, and she said, the Lord said life coaching. And I'm like, I didn't speak to her about it. I had not told
Mm.
anyone about it. But she said the Lord said life coaching, and she gave me the number of years in which He said that I should focus on that. And so when she said that the December, I would have started to look on, information about life coaching. And I had from 2019 on my vision board in my bathroom that I wanted to be a John Maxwell team member. So I
Oh,
still have that image on it right now in the bathroom. And I didn't remember it, but she said to me, why not check out John Maxwell? I'm like, oh yes, I remembered. But then the truth of the matter is it was in December. So I called, said schedule the appointment. As you know, we have to schedule the appointment to speak to one of
yeah.
the consultants, and she would have called me the day before Boxing Day, literally. And she was, telling me the cost for the program. So I was saying 1,000 US was too high or 900. And when she quoted the cost to me, I'm like in my head, I'm not going to do this anymore. Let's just let her continue the conversation and then that's it.
Yeah.
But then when she told me that if I paid $1,000 by the Friday, and that was the last day for her within December to have a meeting. So just look at how God works, right?
Mhm.
When God says something and this is what He wants you to do, He makes the provision. And
Yeah.
so she would have told me that, there's a discount of 50%. They would cover the cost for the hotel and the processing fee would have been covered. I'm like, I called my friend and I said, this is what they said to me. And she said, you can't find the $1,000. And I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I have some money. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's how I did it. And I, went on the payment plan that they have to pay it and until I was able to get some more money and just completely paid it off before the time. But that's how I ended up doing the course. And I
Yeah.
went to and I said to myself, all right, since you're paying for the hotel, I would then pay for the airfare. So I
Yeah.
wanted to go to Orlando. So trust me, I went to Orlando not knowing anybody in Orlando, just saying I'm going to leave. I'm going to do this for me because I want this for myself. And I
Yeah.
was so happy and passionate. And I literally just started, the course throughout the year until we met each other there in August. And it was just such a wonderful feeling to know that the Lord would have said this. I would have
Mhm.
decided that, all right, after all these years of doing it for free, After all these years of
Yeah.
helping persons level up and all of that, because even today, one of my friends that I would have been, doing that with mentoring and, just coaching her along would have mentioned it on my comments in on TikTok that she would have benefited from my influence and stuff like that. So I was like, thanks for sharing that, because sometimes you don't know, and I always like bringing people along. That's me. I always
Mm,
like people winning. So basically, that's how I decided. Okay, I'm going to do this now professionally. So I've
yeah.
done it informally. I'm going to now professionalize it, get my accreditation. And for me, as I said to you, how God deals with me is that He always causes me to be doing the best, excellent.
Yes.
So there
Yeah.
are other persons that offer it, there are other things, but then He's like, go
No.
here. This is where it is. And I would have met you and other persons that I'm still in contact with now. And it's a diverse set of persons, but we're actually doing what we're supposed to do. So this is how connectivity and faith works. And me
Yes.
realizing that had I probably delayed on the instructions that I've gotten, I would not have met you, but I didn't delay. I
Yeah.
took it and I ran with it.
And this interview wouldn't be happening now, guys. So
Exactly.
that's how God works. But you're also a forex trader. So, guys, if you want to learn forex, Aneisha has classes that's going on. I'm not exactly sure of the detail. She can drop a few little info on that. But if you do want to learn forex, she's the right person for it. So I'm going to ask you, what are some of the misconceptions that people have about money management and wealth?
Okay, one of the misconceptions they have is that if they save, that's all.
Mm.
If you save, that's all. You save for a rainy day. So you put away some funds for an emergency fund. So just in case something happens, you have that readily available. But if it is that you want to scale and you want to really be wealthy or grow significantly in your finances, you have to invest. So
Yeah.
one of the things that's a problem for people is they're too greedy.
Hmm.
They love to spend. So
Yes.
you get an increase in your salary. The first thought about it is, I'm going to buy something that I like. I'm
Yep.
not saying that you're not supposed to treat yourself, because we work hard. Yeah, we
Yeah.
we ladies, we work very hard.
Yes.
We're independent women, so we work hard, but we work smart too. So if you're starting from zero, many of us start from zero or negative, because you have student loans. So you have to clear those loans before you can even go into a positive. So
Mm-hmm.
why now, if you're getting income, additional income, you're going to spend it out on frivolous stuff to
Yeah.
really compete with the Joneses, who don't care about you. They don't care about you. So we want to know, change misconception that saving alone will help. There are
Yeah.
some persons who say, I'm not going to put my money in a bank because it doesn't work for me. But if you keep your money at home, you stand the opportunity or the misfortune of being robbed.
Yes.
So you don't want to do that, but you want to invest. So if you can take 20% of your earnings, you want to start looking at investing from early. If you
Yeah.
save $1 per day, and as persons are in the US or who will be watching across the world, it's $1 US per day for
Yeah.
even 20 years. How much would that be? And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm giving you the challenge, go and calculate it. Every single day you save a US dollar for 20 years, how much would that work out to?
Yeah.
And you're putting it away, investing, or if you get an income increase, then that increase that you get, that a part of the lump sum, go and put it in an investment. You have an iPhone. Why are you not investing in Apple? You
Listen,
have Samsung. Why are you not investing in Samsung?
people do not like to invest. It's Acorn have what you call it, a promotion that they run every week that they say if you get 5 people to invest $5, we will give you $1,300 in your investment account. And I can't even get one person to sign up to invest $5. That's how bad it is when it comes on to investment. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I saw a quote earlier this week that says the rich people value time and poor people value money, because to them they have to work to get the money. Then they're not thinking about the money working for them. They're not thinking about, let me get this $10 so I can go and invest it so that by the end of the year, I may have 100. They don't think like
Mhm.
that. And as you mentioned, the whole concept of, okay, I used to get $100. This used to pay all the bills, but now I'm getting 150, but I'm still maxing out, because now you tell yourself, okay, I can go and get a new car because I have more money, instead of thinking, okay, let me try to invest this additional money that I've gotten. So those are some of the things to consider as you handle money and the concept of investment. So when we think about coaching, entrepreneurship, and your primary role, how do you balance all of that?
Well, persons have always asked me, where do I get time from? Because outside of everything that I do, I'm very active in church.
Yeah.
So I have meetings every evening, oftentimes different meetings for different departments that I'm in. I also, mentor persons outside of my business, and I am involved in things that, I have a full-time job as well. So I go to work, I'm involved in those activities as well. Volunteerism is very big for me. And I have family and friends that I need to spend time with. But for me, time management is crucial. I've learned time management. I've mastered time management. So I have my schedule that I put aside every week, that I schedule what I need to do each evening that I'm getting home. What is it? On my agenda, you're on the agenda for this evening, right? And I also have another meeting after this recorded, basically. So I tend to try to compartmentalize things that need to be done, whether they're urgent. So I do coach persons on time management too, because it's a crucial skill that can cause you to level up in any space that you're in, whether you're in corporate, government, church, social endeavors. It allows for you to be very effective and using your time wisely. So
Yeah.
are the things that are coming at you urgent, important? Are they not so important? So you don't need to really spend as much time or focusing on them. So basically, time management for me is key, crucial,
Yeah.
so that I can hit every goal. And I tend to set goals per month. And
Yeah.
within those timelines, I set time around them so that I can really accomplish those goals. I can do what I need to do. I can compact everything on my weekends. I have the coaching sessions, I have the classes, so many things to be done. But I
Yeah.
try to do as much as I can, and I'm trying to put in rest these days.
Yes. She needs to put in rest. And people will say, where do you find time to date and all of those other things?
That part, I'm still single at the moment, but I think I'm ready for that new
Right.
change in my life.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I think we would have spoken about that in Orlando. We were joking about it, right? So now I am actually ready for, settling down, thinking about building a family. I'm at that age now where I think I would have accomplished a lot by the grace of God on my own. And now I desire to build with that person that would be similar to me in mindset, to
Mhm.
want to leave a legacy, because I'm about legacy building.
That's amazing. And guys, when it comes to boundary setting, Aneisha is a pro at that. Listen, I saw she checked someone a few months ago on her Instagram, someone that was claiming her. And she's like, hold up. Let's not do that right now, okay? We're not on that time. So talk a little bit about boundary. What does that mean for you, and how important it is for people to set boundary?
All right. So boundaries for me, they are very important. One of the reasons is my name is my brand, my bond. And
Mm.
while growing up, I didn't have riches. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. My name meant something. When somebody thinks about Aneisha Rose, Coach Wealthy Annie, they're thinking about somebody of integrity, somebody that's
Yes.
predictable. You can know what I'm going to do. So if somebody says something about my character and you are in my friend zone, you would know
Mm-hmm.
that that's a lie, because I'm predictable like that. And so when it
Mm.
comes on to boundaries, whether friends or, family and stuff like that, I really treasure that, especially when it
Mhm.
comes on to men, because in Jamaica, men tend to want to go outside of the boundaries and to see how they can push it.
Mm-hmm.
Married men, single men, they try. And I
Mm,
really want to ensure that at any point in time, I can say to somebody, hey, a young person can come to me and say, Miss Rose, Auntie, whatever they want to call me, I really respect you because when you were trying to rise, you didn't take the money from this person that wanted to give you the money, that wanted you to sleep with them so you could get the house, the car. I could have gotten a house early in
yeah.
my 20s. I could have had a car early in my 20s, but I set boundaries. One of my boundaries, I don't deal with married men. That's
Mm-hmm.
crosses. The scripture tells us we
Mm,
don't commit adultery, so I'm not going there. I
yeah.
set boundaries to my time. So if you're a male and you're messaging me at a certain time, I'm not going to respond until the morning because I'm not going to make it seem as though I'm leading you on. I try to ensure that whatever men I'm dealing with, especially in a social setting, that I'm not doing or saying things to make it seem as though I'm inviting anything. As I said, I've gone through trauma already. So I'm very deliberate with what I do, how I speak, how I represent myself around males. There are a few males that I trust, that I do business with, that I will carry me, allow to come accompany me to certain places, because
Yeah.
some places you go when you're dealing with men, they tend to want to deal with you a particular
Yeah.
way. So I have certain male friends that will accompany me. Yes, persons would say, oh, is your little boyfriend or something? It doesn't matter to me. I know
Yeah.
what the purpose is. I'm protected because they are there. So
Yes.
those boundaries are set. So I have my friends, I have my family members, I have, persons that are my associates. So I just don't go outside of certain boundaries. I don't allow a lot of persons in my personal space. I would
Mm,
know you, but you're not in my personal space. So I won't go above and beyond for you because that's my boundary. Going on beyond, above and beyond are for persons in my close circle, friends, and family members. So you
yeah.
have to set boundaries for your own sanity as well, because
Mm.
sometimes people really want to use you and abuse you.
Yes, I love that. Guys, definitely learn to say no, learn to set those boundaries. It's not wrong for you to actually tell people no when you're not up for something. So I'm glad you're able to do that. And as she said, her name is her brand. So don't play with it, okay? All right. So as we get close to the end, what advice do you give clients or would you give to a young person who is currently struggling with confidence? Because I know you went through that period as well.
All right. So if you are struggling with confidence, and that's one of the things I do in Wealthy Annie coaching as well, because that's a part of who you are, building that confidence. When you step into a room, when you step into even your own room, looking into the mirror, what do you see when you look into the mirror? And if you are finding it difficult to look into the mirror, that means that something is wrong. Were you
Yeah.
traumatized? Were you taught that you're not beautiful, handsome? What is the definition of beauty? But confidence for me comes from knowing who your source is and
Yeah.
knowing who your maker is. And my maker is God. And the scripture tells me that I was made in the likeness and image of God. And when he made man, he said it was good. So when
Yeah.
I think of it, I'm beautifully, fearfully, and wonderfully made. When God made me, so you have to look at yourself. You are alive for a reason, for a purpose. So because you are alive, that means there is a problem for you to solve. And you are that very solution. So the confidence that you need is going to one come from knowing who you are and whose you are. You
Mm,
are a child of God. You're made in his likeness and image. Well, no matter what anybody says to you, cannot
yeah.
change that because they didn't decide for you to be born, first
No.
and foremost. Not even your parents decided who you were going to be. You were already formed in your mother's womb, and God knew who you were going to be. So you're
Yes.
called, you're special. So, what I would say to you to build your confidence is one, knowing God,
Hmm.
going back to the source. And then when you have that relationship with God, you experience that agape love, that
Yeah.
unconditional love that God has for you. That no matter where how far you've been, no matter how far you've fallen, no matter what people say, you know that you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are smart. Smart is different in different
Mm,
terms. So you can be very articulate. You
Yeah.
can be very artistic. You can be talented in football, in different areas. But building confidence comes from knowing who you are, but also doing things to ensure that you are confident. So if you're an artist, are you spending time drawing, doing your
Yeah.
artwork so you can perfect it? If you're a singer, are you spending time with vocal coaches, lessons, stuff like that? Those things that you do consistently, good habits will build that confidence for you.
Yes, I love that. Definitely, guys. Go back to the creator. He definitely didn't send us down here for with insecurities. None of those things came from God. And those are all things that we learn as we continue to grow and allow people to get in our heads, allow people to bully us, allow people to let us look at ourselves differently. Because I wrote a book about this. It's called Unique, Perfectly Imperfect. There was a time when my confidence was so low because people kept bullying me about it, how I look, how I show up, and I allowed them to get to me. So I definitely understand that it's a mindset thing, and you have to look in the mirror and go back to the creator and remember who the heck you are, okay?
Mhm, mhm.
So, Aneisha, this has been an amazing conversation. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to say at this time?
Well, basically, thanks, Yanique. So I just wanted to just underscore what it is that I do as a coach, right? So basically, I have been trading for years. So I love forex trading first and foremost. So I have a business partner that we do actually help persons in that area. If you really want to be unstuck, you want to change your finances, you want to come out of poverty,
Yeah.
this is a mechanism that will work for you. And this is teaching persons a skill set that the world may not have access to because it's difficult, but
Yes.
it's taking strategies and making it easier. For Wealthy Annie Coaching, what I do is I impact lives. So
Mm,
I deal with business owners, I deal with individuals. So if you're a person that wants to build your career and you don't know how, I help you to charter that path to your career building. To if it is that you want to land a senior position in corporate, you want to rise in the business world, go ahead. For small businesses, making them attractive, especially to banks.
yeah.
Oftentimes, businesses want to scale, and how they scale is through financing, but they don't know how to do it. I help them to get to that point where when they go to the bank see them as potential, see them as growth opportunities. For individuals who really want to improve their personal development, you want to earn more, you want to understand how to increase your wealth, to make sure your money is not funny and it's not running away from you, but it's running to you, multiple streams of income. That's what I do. I specialize in money management, helping you to reduce your debts. I know what it is to help somebody from no debt at all. My sister has completely no debt at this moment because I would have helped her to go through and ensure, and as well as other persons, to come
Nice.
out of debt completely. And if it is that you really want to know how to position your life as an individual, a young Christian female who wants to know, you're single and you want to really live a fulfilled life in your calling. Yeah, because I know what it is to be single, to be able to have my own house, my own car, everything that I need
Yeah.
currently, I have it before
Yeah.
even being married. So these are the things that I help people to achieve full transformation of your life. You will not be the same again. Trust me when I tell you, because we don't stop until you get to that goal.
I love it, guys. She is out here helping people. All the businesses that she mentioned, the primary focus is around helping. And so I love that for you. And ladies, as Aneisha said, you, even if you're single in this moment, life does not stop. Come on, stop sitting around and waiting for a man to show up to save you. You can live, you can set yourself up, and when him show up, when God send him come, on a build together after that. But life not stop because the man not come yet. All right. So I just wanted to leave that with you. All right, Aneisha.
Preach.
I love it. So now we are going to go in our rapid reflection segment. Are you ready for that?
Okay.
All right. you believe that wealth is more about strategy or mindset or both?
I believe it's both. First, you have to believe that you deserve wealth and that
Yeah.
it is yours. And then you build a strategy around acquiring the wealth, but not only acquiring, maintaining the wealth. Because many persons can get to the destination, but when they arrive to that destination, it's how to sustain it, to multiply it so that it can be a legacy,
Yeah.
even after you leave this earth.
We've seen the people who win the lotto and how quickly it vanished because they don't have the right mindset. So
Yeah.
I agree with that. What's one word that describes you?
Resilience.
I love that. And that's my word as well. If you should title this episode, what would you give? What title would you give to it?
From rags to riches.
I love it. And what's the best financial advice you've ever received?
The best financial advice is every mickle make a muckle. In
Every
Jamaica, every single thing that you do adds up. That's what it means. And so for me, everything that I do, it adds up. And the scripture says, do what you need to do in the morning or in the evening, or
yeah,
even both, because you do not know which one or both will be fruitful for you. And so because of that, I say every single thing that I do, every single money that I have put in together, it adds up and it's going to be the perfect thing for me.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of
Mhm.
this. Um, is there any contact information that you want to leave us with?
Okay, yes. So you can reach out to me. I'm currently building my website at www.wealthyanniecoaching.com. Also, you may contact me at 1-876-827-0646. So that's 1-876-827-0646. Or you can email me at wealthyanniecoaching.com. Right? So you can send the email there, and you have Pippin with Wealthy Annie at gmail.com or Wealthy Annie Coaching at gmail.com. So it all depends on what it is that you want to accomplish, what it is that you want to do. But once we have that initial consultation, then we can move from there. So I'm on IG, Instagram. I am Wealthy Annie, the Wealthy Annie. I am on TikTok as well, Wealthy Annie, life and business coach. So you can look me up on those different social media platforms and Facebook as well.
All right, guys, there's so many ways for you to find her. I'm going to add all of this in the description section. So if you are interested in connecting, whether it be for coaching, if you're a business looking for someone to come in and talk to your leaders, if you want some advice on how to trade, this is the woman for you. So thank you so much, Aneisha, for sharing your story of resilience and wealth with us. You definitely touch on some topics that I'm sure the listeners are going to be able to resonate with. And guys, if you want to connect with her, again, I am Aneisha Rose, the Wealthy Annie, and visit wealthyanniecoaching.com.
Yeah.
So, sis, I hope you take away from today that past doesn't dictate your future. Your fate and your choices do. All right. So, thank you so much for tuning in to the Blueprint today. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow me over on Instagram. The links will be in the description as well. But at Sis You Are Her is the Instagram that I'm promoting at the moment. All the contact information for today's guests can be found right below in the comment section. So make sure you check that out. And y'all, my book is coming soon. I'm so excited. And I ask that you support. Please, your support really means the world to me. So anything that I do, I see you guys watching. I see you guys commenting. I see you guys sharing. So it really means a lot to me. But when the book drops and when the affirmation cards drop, please support. And if you love my content, it takes work, but I'm doing it because I want to help each and every one of you. you can support by buying me a coffee. The link is in the bio. And I know some people are like, no, I'm not going to buy you a coffee. That's just the name of the website. So it's really donating to the podcast. So if you want to continue to support it, please click that link and do so. So again, everything is in the description for you to go back to, so don't miss it. Until next time, stay true to yourself and keep building your blueprint. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Yanique. Bye, everyone.
You for watching another episode of the Blueprint Podcast. Don't forget that my book, Sis You Are Her, releases December 12th. In the meantime, go ahead and pre-order. It's only 99 cents, and this helps me to rank. But on December 12th, you will be able to order the paperback and the hardback. The links are in the description below as well as the comments. Thank you for all your support. Love y'all. Thank you for watching another episode of The Blueprint. Please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share this video. Until next week, take care. Bye.